Good morning, everyone, and here we are again. Today's topic in our discussion is astral traveling. Is there such a thing? Does it really happen? Is it our imagination? What is actually astral travel? Before we start with all of those questions, and again, thank you everybody for all of your questions. We are once again inundated. Before that, I'd like to welcome my spirit guide, Gregor, who is standing always to my right side. Further to the right, we have Carolyn. Say hello, Carolyn.
Good morning.
Who is going to help us today, and she's going to be the one. She's the one who figures out the questions and sorts them all out, and she's also the one who's going to be asking the questions today on behalf of all of you who have sent them in to us. So I think, without further ado, I don't know who used to say that, but without further ado, let's go to our first question.
Our first question this morning is Wanda from New York, and she writes, if it's true that the soul leaves the body to go astral traveling, what is the purpose?
Ooh, Wanda, very nice question. What is the purpose of astral travel? Well, there are lots of different reasons why we astral travel. There are lots of different means to astral travel. But one of the reasons I used to go astral traveling was if I, there's only so much time in a day. And as a healer and having patients all over the world, it's really convenient for me to sort of, in my sleep state, to go off and visit my patients, because I can get so many more visits in during that sleep period than ever I could during the day. And it's easy to travel. It's far quicker. It only takes me seconds to get from here to there. And also it's very interesting because a lot of my patients will say to me sort of the next day, did you come to visit me? I saw you, or I felt you, or in the case of one of my patients, I opened my eyes and you were sitting on my bed. Was it really you? And describe what I was wearing and so on. And yes, I was able to say, yes, it was really me. I did come to visit you in the night. And so one of the ways that healers will manage to see their patients, especially if they have patients around the world as I do, is to, I was almost going to say, get on the broomstick. Whether or not I use the broomstick, I will let you know later. But, just kidding here. But yes, I use astral travel, and it's a very convenient way of, doing what we have to do, doing what we need to do. Let's have our next question.
The next question is Marcela. She asks, how can a human being astral travel at will and be safe?
That's also a very good question. The truth, Marcela, is that all of us will be astral traveling in our dream state. Some of us not so far, and some of us, further away. But we all do it. Our soul will automatically leave our body in our sleep state to go visiting. We might go visiting with a loved one in the spirit world. We might, it's a way of us connecting with those that we've lost in the spirit world. It's a way of, as I've just said, connecting with patients, or connecting with friends, or visiting with friends. And sometimes we'll wake up and we'll have this, I had this really vivid dream that I met such a friend, or so-and-so friend. Or you might get a phone call from a friend saying, I had such a great dream about you yesterday. And sometimes that dream has to do with the fact that you visited during your travels. Is it safe? The soul does this on an automatic basis, but I always like to take the precaution of, asking, dear God, keep me safe, dear God, help me through the night. And I usually try to do that as I'm going to sleep at night. I will just sort of send up a little, help, don't let me go too far. But, pretty much it's safe because it's something that we naturally do. We do it on a natural and an easy basis, even though on a conscious level, we're not aware of it. And our next question is?
Our next question is from Nancy from Phoenix. She says, I've heard that when your body suddenly jerks when you're asleep or almost asleep, that your astral body is jumping back in. Do you think this is true?
Nancy from Phoenix. It's really nice, you know, when people sort of give us their location, it's really nice because we get people sort of writing in from all over the world, and not, you know, not that it helps me particularly, but I do like to know where people are from. If you're inclined to ask a question, we'd love to know not only your name, but, you know, whereabouts in the world you live as well. So Nancy from Phoenix, and Phoenix is one of my very, very favorite places ever in the world, believe it or not. Not the most, but certainly one of the most favorite places. It is true that if you're sort of in that place when you're astral traveling, usually it's in your sleep state, and usually you're doing this on some sort of in an unconscious or a subconscious way. You're usually not consciously aware when you're astral traveling, although I've been very consciously aware many times when I've been astral traveling, but for most part, for most people, no, you're not consciously aware. But it is possible that when you come back and you sort of you re-enter your body, yes, you can come back in with a bit of a thump or a bit of a, you know, which makes your physical body, can make you jump. However, let's be clear and let's be critical, shall we? Because not every time you jump or move in your sleep does it mean that you've just been astral traveling. It could be just that your nerves are on edge. It could be that you're overtired. It could be a number of things. It could be that you turned over in a weird way and caught a nerve. But yes, when you do astral travel, it is possible when you're coming back into your body, it is possible at times for you to be aware of that woof. It's almost like a boof coming back in. And yes, and it can sort of certainly jerk you out of your subconscious or your sleep state into consciousness. And our next question.
This is from Primeira, and she's in Germany.
Panama, what an unusual name. Hello, Panama, from Germany.
When do you think one is ready? Which level of consciousness should one have before one can astral travel? She kind of got a couple questions here.
Okay, let's have them all then.
Okay. Is it safe, and is it better with an angel nearby?
Okay, well, we pretty much, I think, answered the question. When are you ready to astral travel? As I've already said, we all of us, I think, do it on a natural basis, and I think every one of us has at some point in our lives left our body and traveled, and it may be that we've just traveled that little tiny bit. Maybe we've traveled to visit with our loved ones who we've lost, or maybe, as in the case of myself as a healer, we've maybe traveled to visit our patients, or we've maybe traveled to have other experiences. I don't think that you have to be on any particular level to do this in a natural sense. But if you wanted to develop the art of astral travel, and if you wanted to do this on a conscious level, and you wanted to do this, as I've done from time to time, if you wanted to do this, let's say deliberately and for reasons, then you would have to certainly make yourself much more sensitive and much more aware of these things, and there are certain exercises that you can do and certain things that you can do to help yourself get into that state of, you know, being able to literally sort of be so relaxed and so in tune with the universe and be so in tune with your own soul to be able to lift out of your physical body and to move forward. So it's easy to do. We all do it very naturally, but if you want to do it on a more conscious level and to be more aware, and there's a definite purpose to your astral traveling on a conscious level, then yes, you can do it, but be careful before you jump in. Is it better to have an angel with you? Always. You know, which is why I just said in the previous question, if you're going to do astral traveling, or even if you're not, I always like to say, just a nice little, send up a little thought. if you're listening, anybody up there, keep me safe. Dear God, keep me safe. And you know, you just have to ask it, and it's given to you. Do we have a next question?
We actually have a live question right on that subject.
We have a live question from
Sophia.
Hello,
She's watching
Sophia.
in Greece.
Hi, Sophia from Greece. My goodness, I don't know what time it is there. I think you're 5 hours on, so welcome. I love Greece. Go ahead.
She asks, how can I protect myself during an astral travel?
Oh, well, there you are then. You can protect yourself by, you know, asking God, or putting yourself in the light, or putting yourself in a frame of mind where you're in the light and where you're protected. And I always advise my students when we're working on these things to say the prayer of protection. I always think it's advisable to do that anyway, because, you know, every day we need protection. Every day in every way we need protection, and every day in every way we need our angels with us, I think, or certainly I do. And so the prayer of protection would be, dear God, you know, please protect me, keep me safe from harm, keep me in the light, and always in the light. And if there are any angels there who want to accompany me, I always add this, you know, please, you know, please help me. And as I just said, when you ask it, it is given to you. But just asking that you stay in the light and that you're put into the light means that you are already, that your soul is already a soul of light and a soul of love. And, you know, like attracts like. So as you're traveling, you're going to only attract that light and that love, which is your protection. Next question.
Next question is Barbara. She asks, have you ever taken anyone else with you when astral traveling?
What an insightful question from Barbara. Hello, Barbara. We don't know where you're from, but hello anyway. Have I ever taken anyone with me when I've been astral traveling? Yes, I have. I don't do it often, but I'm just thinking of an example, and one example would be I had a couple who came to me. They'd lost their son in a motorbike accident. He was killed in a motorbike accident. And even though they'd been to me several times, and even though they'd had many messages from their son, and even though they'd had a lot of healing from myself and my team, this the father of this boy just could not come to terms with losing his son. And we were in a pretty desperate situation as to how to help him. And so Gregor decided that maybe we could take him on a journey. And that's just what we did. And we met with his son, this young man who was in his teens. We met with him and we traveled, the father and I basically held his hand and took him with me. And we traveled, we met with his son, and then his son took his father on a journey through the spirit world, let's say through heaven, or in the part of heaven that he was in. And he took his father and he showed his father where he was working, and he showed his father what he was doing. And he was able to help his father to come to terms with the fact that, yes, you know, you've lost me. I'm not on the earth plane anymore, but here I am, and this is what I'm doing, and this is very real. And that was one example of being able to take someone astral traveling, help them to come out of their body, holding my hand, because this man had never done this before and he'd never astral traveled before. And when he came back from this journey, which of course wasn't long enough for him, but when he came back from this journey, having been with his son for this short amount of time that we had, he began to improve. It certainly helped with his grief and helped him to come to terms with the fact that his son was still there. He still had him and he hadn't lost him. And it was an incredible experience for me personally. And it was an incredible experience for the father of this boy, one that he's never forgotten. So there are times when I will take someone astral traveling with me, only with Gregor's guidance, only if Gregor asks me. It's not something that I would ever decide by myself. But when we do that, it's usually for a purpose, and the purpose is somewhat a healing purpose. Let's have our next question.
We have a live question.
Another live question. Good.
From our buddy Dean.
Oh, hello, Dean. I love you coming on and asking these live questions. People are going to start talking about it. You know that, Dean, don't you? Right. Let's have your question then.
He says his son-in-law travels and says he is connected by a sort of silver thread from the front of him. Is this typical?
It is. We in this world, of spirit and experiences and so on, we're in the spiritual world. We talk about that silver thread or the silver cord, and it's been, you know, talked of since forever, since time immemorial. And what we liken it to is we call it the silver cord or the silver thread that attaches the soul to the physical body. And it's sort of an unseen thread, and it's a sort of very, very fine thread. It's a sort of more energy than it is an actual thread or a silver cord, but it's sort of like this silver energy that keeps the body and the soul together. When we go astral traveling and our soul leaves our body, we can go as far as we want, and the cord stretches forever and as much and as far as we want it to go. However, when we die, that is when the silver cord or the thread is broken. And, you know, again, when we talk about the silver cord, it's not an actual silver cord. It's more a metaphor for what is there, which is this energy that is attaching us to the earth plane. And, you know, when we die, that cord is, let's say, it's broken, it's cut, it's gone, because, you know, the soul cannot and does not want to come back and enter that body again. So the silver cord is there. It doesn't necessarily keep us safe, but it is what keeps us attached. So whether it's the front, the back, the side, or wherever it is, I don't think it matters really. But many people see it as coming from the third eye, from here and out. I don't particularly. I will tell you this little piece of information because, Dean, you sort of have me thinking here. When people leave their body, when their soul leaves their body, I guess different people do it in different ways. And I can only speak to the way that I do it. However, when I do it, I actually feel myself going backwards out of my body as opposed to going forwards out of my body. Even if I go backwards and then I'm going forwards, I have to come out backwards first. Don't ask me why. That's the feeling I get when I leave my body. And it's usually sort of a moving out and away backwards. Weird. Wonderful. Very curious, right? But anyway, thanks for the question, Dean. Next question.
We've got another live question from Shiva Rose.
Shiva Rose. I hope, Shiva Rose, we're pronouncing your name correctly.
She says, good afternoon. Is astral travel the same as lucid dreaming?
Wow, that's a good question. No. The answer's simply no, but I'll try and explain why. Lucid dreaming could be, well, it could simply be you've had too much pot, you've smoked too much. It could mean that you're, you know, that you're taking medication that's you know, making you a little crazy, which has certainly happened to me, and it's happened to friends of mine, which gives us, let's say, lurid dreams. Lurid meaning, I guess, not such nice dreams, but if we dream a lot, it doesn't necessarily mean we're astral traveling. It just means that our mind could be so active trying to retain everything that's happened. Often in dreams, we're dreaming in ways that express our anxiety about something that's going on, or that the fact that we've been thinking too much about a thing, and that comes out in our dream state. So there are many reasons why we dream. Certainly when people astral travel, they can remember it the next day as if it's a dream. But lurid dreams and astral travel are two different things. Hope that helps you, darling. Thanks for the live question, which we love. Right, next question.
Christina from Copenhagen asks,
gosh, all the way from Copenhagen.
How can we recognize if it is real astral traveling or sleep paralysis?
Oh, Christine or Christina?
Christina.
Christina, hello, Christina from Copenhagen. How can we recognize? Well, you know, really, we can't. It's basically trial and error. You know, that's sort of again applying the 3-time rule. If it happens once, you know, take notice. If it happens twice, think about it. There's a possibility. If it happens 3 times, it's usually something that's real, that's something that's going on. Accept it as if it's real and move on. But truthfully, you know, you have to, I would say, because I'm very sensitive to this stuff, I would say that you just know the difference. You just know, because your soul will speak to you. But if you're a person who needs confirmation all the time, if you're a person who doesn't trust what's happening, who doesn't trust what's going on, if you're that person, then apply the 3-time rule. That's what I would say to that. Next question. This is fun. I'm having fun this morning.
Sophia asks, and she's live with us. She asks, can spirits of our family or loved ones help us astral travel?
Sophia, and thank you. Another live question, which again we love. Can our loved ones who have died help us with our astral traveling? I'm looking to Grey Eagle here. Certainly they can travel with us. Certainly they can encourage us. Certainly they can keep us safe. So do they help us? Yes, I guess they do. Do we need someone in the spirit world to do that for us? Not necessarily. But if you were, we have a plane in the sky, sorry about that. If you wanted to specifically encourage astral travel, or you wanted to work on, you know, doing this more often on a conscious level, certainly if it were me, I would suggest, you know, you connect with your loved ones in the spirit world, those you love and those you trust, and say, can you help me? And I'm sure that they'd find a way to do that for you. So you don't necessarily need them, but why wouldn't you want them? Next question.
Susie asks, do you connect with Jesus as you travel to the different planes of the universe? And is he near and active in a similar role as he was here on Earth?
Well, I consider myself to be a Christian. I grew up in the Christian faith, not with my family, but with my church. On Sunday afternoons, my mother would send us off. From the age of 2 or 3 years old, we were off to church, the older sisters taking the younger ones. And there was a church at the top of our street that we always went to, and we, you know, went for the afternoon Sunday school. The only reason that my mother insisted that we went was because on Sunday afternoons was the Sunday afternoon movie on TV. And so, you know, before the TV, the radio. So it was her time to have a break, watch TV, listen to the radio, do whatever she was doing. So there there was nothing about religious instruction that she cared about. There was, you know, it wasn't a question of you are going to church because you need to get closer to God. But that church and the people in that church, and it was a Baptist church. Now, Baptist church in England is very different than the Baptist church in America, just so as you know. We're much more refined. We're not quite as noisy. We don't seem to have nearly as much fun, actually. But it was a Baptist church, and of course, naturally, they believed in Jesus Christ. And as I grew up in this church, and the people in this church became my loving family, they were the ones who nurtured me and sheltered me, and they were the ones I trusted. And they taught me about Jesus Christ, and I got to know him. And then as I got older, I got to know him on a personal level. If you're asking, do I take Christ with me? In my heart, he is with me wherever I go. So I guess the answer would be yes. If I'm astral traveling, if I'm in the kitchen cooking, wherever it is I go, Christ is in my heart, and he's my friend, and I consider him my friend. I would also consider him my savior, because he has saved me, not in the Christian way of things, but he has saved me from myself so many times in my life. However, there are many beliefs, not just a Christian belief. The Christian belief is one of the newest, in fact, in the world. So even though I believe in Christ, and even though I consider myself to be a Christian, I also value, appreciate, and I'm interested in the many different religions of the world, and value that, you know, the necessity that people have to have their own beliefs. So I would never put my beliefs or my faith onto someone else. I would never, ever condemn anyone else for not believing the same things that I believe in. You know, there are so many different religious beliefs, and where people say, well, if you don't believe in this, you are condemned. You know, that's it. You know, no heaven for you. That you're not going to be let in at the pearly gates. Well, I don't believe it, because I think if you live a good life and a true life as best you can, making mistakes along the way because we're human, I don't think it matters whether you believe in God or Christ. I always say, well, God is only dog spelt backwards anyway. I don't think it matters whether you believe in God or Christ or Muhammad or whoever. It doesn't matter what you believe in. I think that if those pearly gates, heaven, whatever it is you want to call it, nirvana, whatever, is going to be open to you, is going to be open to anybody and everybody. Because I think that God, as in the light and the energy of the universe, welcomes all of those who want to stand in the light. That was a bit of a deep question. Next question. Let's have our next question, shall we?
Next question is from Timothy. Can someone take over your body while you are astral?
I'd have to say yes, but I'd have to say that you would need to put yourself in a position whereby that can happen. It's interesting, this question, Timothy, and thank you for asking this question, because I often think that when people go for, you know, hypnotherapy, for instance, and they recount their past lives, I think it's possible for someone else sort of to use your body while you're out of your body. I think it's possible for someone else to pop in there and use your body and to describe their life, not necessarily your past life, but their life. It's possible for them to, we have to have a deeper and a bigger discussion about this, I think, but it is possible for people to, yes, to use your body. When I have done rescue work, which I've done so many times, I've lost count of how many times, but rescue work was very important to me and to Gregor in my learning process. And rescue work is basically searching for, and not my searching for, but Gregor searching for, or coming across people who had died but for whatever reason could not come to terms with dying, or in fact would even sit in the tunnel and not move and not know whether to go forward or backwards. There are those lost souls. Very few, so no need to panic. I always say to people, on your way to dying, just look for the light and off you'll go. There you'll be. But every now and again, somebody, especially people who die in very traumatic circumstances, will not know what to do, where to go, and they'll need little help and encouragement. And that's where a trance medium like myself will come in. And a trance medium will literally go into a trance state, move out of her body. I'm only talking about myself and the way I do it. Move out of the body and literally allow, say, okay, this person can come in and use my body in order that they can use my voice box, they can use my physical self to tell their story, to express themselves. They very often will use this to describe or even to enact how it was that they died. And from there, we as a team, because there are other people with me, so I don't do this on my own, as a team, we guide and steer and help this person to come to terms with the fact of what has happened to them, and to help them to move on and to move forward. Thank you, Timothy, for that question. And I think that might be a whole topic of conversation for another time. Next question.
Okay, we've got Natalia asking live, and she's, I believe, using Google Translate, so you'll have to bear with me here.
Okay, Natalia, hello.
She says, when I was sleeping, someone took my hand and showed me how to fly. I saw a lot of impressive places that I believe I didn't recognize, and I didn't know the person who took me. Is there a possibility to discover who this person was? Because I talked to him as if I already knew him, but I knew I didn't.
All right. Wow. What a nice experience. How wonderful for you. Yes, it is very possible. Somebody obviously took you on a nice little journey and showed you different things about the universe. Why would they do that? To give you that experience, to help you to understand that you have an angel by your side. I think that, if somebody held your hand, you must have known this person, even though you don't think you do, or you don't have any recollection. If that person was an angel, you would know of him or be aware of him enough to trust to go with him or her. So I think this is a wonderful experience. I wouldn't get too hung up about who it was who took you. If it happens again, and if it were me, I'd be hoping it would happen again. But if it happens again, then you have an opportunity to say, this is great and I love it. Can you tell me who you are? And you might get your answer that way. Or even before you go astral traveling, you might want to send out a little question to the universe or to this person. Can you tell me who you are? Can you let me know who you are? Gregor is, as I'm saying this to you, darling, he's putting his hand on my shoulder. And so we're actually going to tell you that this was an angel who came to you. The reason won't be clear right now, but there is a reason why it happened and a reason why you had this experience. And this sounds wonderful to me. You've obviously had a really special and incredible experience with an angel. Wow. Next question.
Timothy Jennifer from North Carolina.
Okay. We have so many questions. With so many people have asked the same question, it's hard. Okay, yes. Jennifer. So Jennifer from
North Carolina.
Hello, Jennifer from North Carolina.
Can I spy on living people while I'm astral?
Yes. Yes, you can. I'm not sure that spying would be the right word, but I like to use checking in. I certainly can check in with my patients. I can certainly, you know, sort of check in if I have someone who's having a difficult situation, or if I'm having a difficult situation with someone. Sometimes it's really good, because when you're astral traveling, you're going into a situation, nobody can see you, nobody knows that you're there, and it's a really good way sometimes for you to see the other side of an issue or the other side of a problem, because as human beings, we very often get so caught up in our side of what a situation is that we forget that there's the other side. And that can give us more insight and more understanding of where a person is coming from. So although I wouldn't say, you know, I wouldn't term it spying, because it's all about the intention. And if you're going to go astral traveling, you have to make sure that the intention is the right one. You're going, you know, you're going to explore, you're going because you want to learn, because you want to grow. This is why the soul does what it does. It goes off exploring, and you know, so your intention has to be the right one. Good question though, I like the question. Next question.
Julia from France asks, are there any side effects of astral travel?
Hello, Julia from France. We've had people from Germany, from France, from wherever, Copenhagen. We've had people from all over the world today, which is lovely. All right. Are there any after effects? I can only speak for myself personally and for the people who I know astral travel. And the only effects are the effects of enlightenment that I can see, because it's a very enlightening and interesting, certainly, thing to do. So, you know, other than the physical, no, there are no physical after effects of astral traveling whatsoever. And the soul does this because it wants to. So I hope that allays any fears you have. Do we have any more questions? We're being inundated here.
We have one more.
Okay.
And this is from Eddie. And he says, what is the difference between an out-of-body experience and astral traveling?
Okay, well, there is a slight difference. So now, hello, Eddie. We don't know where you're from, but hello. The difference is when you have an out-of-body experience, you can have an out-of-body experience literally by sitting in the chair, and you suddenly find yourself standing outside looking at yourself. We hear of people having out-of-body experiences all the time, and you know, they're in surgery and suddenly they find themselves sitting on the ceiling looking down at themselves. You know, you can have that experience. It happened to me. I was in Egypt, and I think I've told this story before. I found myself standing between the two beds. One minute I was asleep, and the next minute there I was out of my body. But if I look back over my shoulder, I could see my physical form in the bed, but here I was with my etheric body, same shape, same size, etc. And here I was having this experience, but yet not traveling. But then at some point I decided, let's go. So you make the decision. You can leave your body and you can stay close to your body, and that's what we would call just an out-of-body experience, looking down on yourself and staying close to your physical body. Or you can have that out-of-body experience, which means the soul has moved out of the body. That's all an out-of-body experience is. The soul has moved out of the body and then decides, let's go. I want to go visit this person or that person, or let's go, you know, travel the universe for a little while. Let's see what we can find. So there is a difference, but one can lead to the other. All right. Yes. Yes. You're looking. We've got more questions, I know, but we are running out of time. Unfortunately, I'm afraid we're running out of time a little bit. We try not to make these things too long because we don't want people to get bored with this subject. If you're bored and we're going on too long, please let us know.
And we still have the personal question to get to.
Oops. All right.
But I did want to mention hello to Dee Dee and hello to Jillian. Jillian's in Cape Coral. I'm not sure where Dee Dee is.
Hello, Dee Dee
and Jillian.
And Jillian, hello. Are you live? I bet you're live.
They are
right?
live, but they've been silent, so just saying hello.
Okay. So we're saying hello to all of you who are live, and which is really thank you for joining us. We hope that you'll join us again live and ask us questions next time. Don't be shy.
Actually, I just found out that Dee Dee is Diana, and she lives in the Netherlands, and she said, "You just talked about Egypt, same as I had an out-of-body experience after my former husband died."
Wow, Diana from the Netherlands.
Yes.
All right. Well, so isn't that nice? I just talked about Egypt, and you can relate. Maybe you'll like to write to us an email and tell us your story, which I can use at another time on one of these chat shows. I'm so sorry that you lost your husband, but please know that he's well, that he's safe, and I'm sure he's with you and visits with you from time to time. We're running out of time, so
the personal question.
Hit me.
All right. So many people have asked about time travel in the last week. Do you have any personal experiences of time travel?
Well, we could say that time travel is the same as astral travel, but it actually isn't necessarily. Time travel implies that you're traveling through time and space. Are you going back in time? Are you going forward in time? Are you in the now time that we on this earth plane know as the now, this moment, this instant? The interesting thing about time travel, and yes, I have, if you like, I've done time travel. The interesting thing, and it's a weird thing that I do, I'm looking to Gregor and I'm smiling because we don't know, I certainly don't know anyone else who does this weird thing that happens to me. I don't do it deliberately. It's not something that I could even explain to anyone how to do or how to replicate. But very often when I'm giving consultations, or very often if I'm in a hall and we're doing a workshop or whatever, even if it can be thousands of people or it can be 100 people, whatever it is, very often I'll be giving a message to someone, and it might be, let's say I'm going to take an easy one. Let's say it's someone who died in a car accident. As I'm talking to them and as I'm seeing the person who died, and the person who died wants to give a message, I also will feel myself. And I literally, even though I'm standing there and I'm talking to my audience, and if you were in the audience, you wouldn't see anything different about me whatsoever. Even as I'm doing that, I'm able to move back. And what I sort of describe it as going back and down and through the hole, which doesn't explain anything to anybody, but still. So I go back. So I find myself, and I already said when I leave my body, I go backwards. So I find myself moving back. Even though some of me is still present in the now, I find myself going back and then moving down and back and through the hole, or through a tunnel if you like, but it's you go through this sort of time and space thing. And I find myself at the scene of the accident, where I can stand and watch, and I can see the accident, and I can see it even prior to it happening, watch it as it's happening, and then watch the results and the consequences of the accident. I was in Canada once, and I did the same thing with a man who'd lost his family in a fire. And as I was talking to him, I saw two young children standing next to him. There were thousands of people in this auditorium, and as I was looking, I could see them standing next to him. But as I began to talk to them and wanting to know what was happening, it's almost as if Gregor says, "It's not enough to know. Let me show you. Let me tell you how it was." And again, going back and down and through the hole, I found myself in a house with the fire raging. And I watched as the father, which was the man in the audience, I watched as he ran crazily through the house, trying to save his children, trying to find his children, trying to find the people in the house, trying to rescue them. And he was running, racing. And at that time, as I'm watching, not able to do anything. Now remember, I'm still with this audience. And as far as they can see, I'm just recounting the story. But as far as I can see, I'm right there in this house fire. It's such a weird thing, and I can't explain it, as I've said. I don't know how it works, but it happens. But as I'm watching this man, I suddenly see an angel standing next to me, also just standing quietly watching. And in her arms, she had 2 small children. As the man ran, I saw him put his hand on the door handle of this door, and I heard the angel say, "No." I saw him hesitate. I saw his hand hover over the door, and then I saw him move on. Now later, when I talked to him, he told me that he had a feeling, or he remembered somebody telling him, "No, you mustn't go in there, don't go in there." And the reason the angel said no to him and stopped him from going in there was because the children in that room had already gone. They were already in the arms of this angel. And I looked at the angel and I tried to ask why. And she said to me, 2 will stay and 2 will come with me. And I'm recounting this to the audience as I'm listening to the angel. Weirdest thing. Later, the man said, yes, 2 children, a boy and a girl, little children, had died, and 2 he'd managed to save. So the angel said, 2 will stay and 2 will come with me. So, yes, I went back in time and I saw this. I go back in time. Sometimes I go back and down and through the hole, and I go to the future. Sometimes I go to the now. There is such a thing as time travel. There is such a thing as astral travel. I can't explain it. I cannot say to you, this is how it happens. And I can't necessarily say to you, and if you do this and this and this, this will happen. Because it depends on the sensitivity of each of us and how sensitive we are. And sometimes we're really ultra sensitive in this moment, but yet a few moments later, we're not. We've lost it. We've lost the opportunity. We've lost the connection. So it's a fascinating subject. There are many facets just to this one subject of astral traveling. And we know there are many facets to the spirit world. But time is up for today. So thank you for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you, all of you who are going to be watching this later, because you can get this on YouTube at any time over for the next forever, I think, if they stay on there forever. If you'd like to write to us, if you have a question, please write to us. Our email address is rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com. If you want to know more about the competition, because the rules, I think, are up today, so we can finally officially say the competition is now open, and our first question will be next week, I think.
No, it'll actually start November 2nd.
Oh, sorry. The competition actually starts November 2nd. You can only be eligible for the competition if you subscribe to YouTube. If you want to join us live on YouTube and you want to ask a question, you have to look at that little tiny spot. It's teeny at the bottom right hand corner where it says ask a question, but it's so small you could almost miss it. So it says chat, and so you just click on that and then you're able to type in your question for us. So if you want to join the competition, you have to subscribe on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are getting to be everywhere, actually. Our topic next week is going to be
ghosts and hauntings.
Ghosts and hauntings, because we're getting closer to Halloween. I mean, are there such things as ghosts? Are there really hauntings, or is this all Hollywood hype? I mean, is it real? Is it factual? You know, we see the Amityville horror, we see all those spooky ghost stories. Is there any truth to them at all? Can anything like this happen? Or is it just spoof, meaning spooky spoof? So that's our topic next week. If you'd like to have a consultation, you email us. If you want to buy any books, email us. If you want to know more about soul signs, email us. So any questions, anything you have, please email us. We love having you. We love doing this. Thank you again for participating. Thank you again for watching. God bless you and have a blessed day.